truth sets you free. With the world's fastest reader, Howard Stephen Berg. Hey everyone, Howard Berg, world's fastest reader. Time for another show. We have a great guest today, really interesting topic. Any of you like traveling? Well, you're going to really like what we have to talk about today. We got John Ayo, and actually, in a way, that's kind of our talk today. It's about how to stay healthy.
Yes.
When you're on the road, especially for our corporate travelers who have to travel on a regular basis. So they can remember your name, but it's also something they want to be aware of. I think one of the things I was enjoying in your book, I read it in 5 minutes, but one of the things I enjoyed was when you get to the hotel room and you had a very interesting regime of what to do. The first thing was check for bed bugs. So let's start there. What's that about, and why do we want to do that?
Well, we don't really want to find the bed bugs, but we wanted to go check. So as soon as we check into the room, the first thing you'll want to do is go take a look at behind the headboard of the bed is usually where they are. So the headboard is, they kind of hide in there and then under the sheet. So you'll look behind the headboard, look for little black dots, and then you'll pick up your mattress and look underneath for the little dots there, because you don't want to be sleeping with the bed bugs. You want to be sleeping, and they can really interfere with that. And the other thing is that they love to travel too. So they'll come home with you, and you don't want to bring them home with you.
No, new friends.
Not the ones you want.
New friends. And then we talked about EMFs.
Yes. So electromagnetic frequencies, you know, we're surrounded by more and more every day. So we have Wi-Fi, we have cell signals, we have FM and XM and all these things. They interfere with our sleep. They interfere with our brains in general, but especially when you're trying to sleep, not just on the traveling, but at home as well, is to clear your head from all of those things. So if you've got a telephone next to you or the clock radio, or a lot of people like to wake up with their cell phone alarms, turn that thing, put it on airplane mode, and move it about 6 feet away from you, and clear everything out from your head when you're sleeping in the hotel room. Some little tips to help with sleep.
It helps you sleep better.
Every little bit helps.
Absolutely. Talked about water, and one of the clues that you have bad water in your hotel is?
Well, it's not a good thing when you have the bad water. When the hotel room gives you water for free, it's usually a clue in the city that that may not be the best water to drink out of the tap. So be extra careful if you get free water and you're not a super status. So I see you have your water. Good for you. It's really important for every day. We need really lots and lots of water. All of our cells need that to replicate and be happy. And when we travel, it's very dehydrating. Getting on airplanes.
Isn't it a lot like going to high altitudes, like going to Denver or Albuquerque, where I think they tell you to drink a bottle an hour minimum?
At
a
least.
Cabin in a plane
exactly.
is
Yep, that's a good target. Is about 8 ounces, or a glass or a bottle an hour would be a great target. And so people are complaining about, I have to get up and go to the bathroom. Yeah, you do. Get to make new friends and get some exercise.
I read something interesting. I read a lot. I read something interesting that jet lag is partly due to altitude sickness. And people aren't aware that they're having altitude sickness. Could you talk a little about that?
Yeah, I mean, jet lag is a tough one. If you've ever really had it, it can really destroy your trip. And so you plan this big vacation or business trip, you get there and you're zonked when you get there. A lot of it is dehydration. And so a big part of that is like altitude sickness, which is similar. Your blood just can't keep up, and it's not getting enough oxygen, and so bad things happen inside. So the more things that we can do to hydrate ourselves, and then we play some tricks on the body, because, you know, we weren't designed to fly halfway across the world in a day, which we do today.
Yes.
So it takes a toll.
And then, of course, there's the radiation that you're exposed to in the cabin.
Well, it's like, you know, you're flying in this big metal tube, and now they have Wi-Fi bouncing around in there, and you're a lot closer to the sun, so you have the radiation from the sun. So all of those things factor in, and they just cause stress on our bodies.
Isn't it like the equivalent of a tooth X-ray going on a long trip at high altitude?
Well, at least, if not more, because depending on, one of the things I talk about going in the airport is going through the scanner. We don't know what that does. It's some kind of X-ray, some kind of radiation. So you add that, compound it with the altitude, the sun, Wi-Fi, it's pretty high. And if you travel a lot, it's a big deal because it's compounding, right?
But I noticed you had a whole chapter on things that you can do to ameliorate some of these effects. Like there was a tonic that you were recommending?
Well, there's several. I have talked about several supplements that I use, and essential oils, because I'm a huge fan of essential oils. They've been around for thousands of years, and they can really help with a lot of different things. So for jet lag, one of the best things, there are some supplements, but one of the best things you can do is just to trick your brain. When you get on that plane, click into the time zone that you're heading to immediately. So as soon as you get on the flight, don't look back.
Change your watch.
Change your watch, and they show you in the cabin, they have a little thing that shows here's your time and your destination and the time where you came from. You got to not look at the time you came from, because you go, wow, look what time it is back home. That'll mess you up. So you got to get there, get where you're going to be right away.
I remember I was going to Australia, and it's a very long flight, and I wanted to go to sleep because the flight left at 11:30 in the evening, but I also knew that we were landing at 6:30 in the morning.
Yes.
And so I stayed up an extra 5 hours watching movies so that I would be on Australian time and be waking up at 6:30 in the morning in Australia rather than sleeping on my other schedule. Is that kind of what you're recommending?
Yeah, that's a big part of it, is when you get on, like when you fly from Dallas to London, it's about usually 7 hours difference. Usually leave at 6 p.m. So as soon as I get on the plane, I say it's 1 a.m. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I set my brain, I'm going to have a late dinner. It's going to be 1 in the morning. But yeah, get on that time zone. It's funny when you come back from Australia, right? You get home before you leave.
I couldn't believe it.
Isn't that great?
It blew my mind.
It is.
I left at 1 in the afternoon, and I got home that same day at 10:30 in the morning.
It's fabulous. You gained a whole day or not.
But if you go the other way,
you lose that day.
Lose a day. So imagine your birthday is on the 2nd and you're flying on the 1st.
That's right.
There will be no 2nd. You will get there on the 3rd and you will have no birthday. But if you're smart, you fly back from Australia on the 1st. You have 2 days, 2 birthday days.
2 birthday days, exactly.
Excellent. I saw some of the essential oils. Excuse me. I have a little bit of laryngitis.
Yes.
I saw some of the essential oils. Could you talk a little about some of them and how they help us?
They're very powerful. So there's several that I never leave home without. I'm a huge fan of Young Living essential oils. There are several brands that you can get, but I find them to be the highest quality. And so there are several blends that help with the immune system that will just knock out things before you get too sick. And the key in the natural health world is to act quickly. So if you start to feel like you're getting sick or you're with somebody that's sick, you got to boost your immune system right away, because there's so many threats that come our way.
That's what just happened to me on a trip. That's right, I got sick on a trip.
Yeah, and so you're around people, you're on the plane next to somebody that's coughing. You take these oils, some of them you take internally, and smell them and put them on and take the supplements, boost your immune system to fight it off, because you're not going to get rid of them. You're not going to get rid of all the germs in the seat back pocket and on the armrests and all the places we get it. One of the germiest is the little security tray that you pick up to go through the airport.
I heard that.
Yeah.
People put their food on it, and they don't realize there's been dirty diapers.
Oh, yeah. It's crazy.
And worse.
And worse.
And worse.
And so you wash your hands whenever you can when you're traveling. But I have oils that I use specifically for that, and then oils to help with digestive things. Because you go to new places and you want to eat their food, which is great. I recommend balancing when you can. But sometimes you eat some things, you go back to the hotel room, and it's not good, and you don't feel good. And so take these oils, and they'll help your body to balance that.
So I'm going to India in September, and I've heard a lot of horror stories and good things. I mean, culturally, it's fantastic.
Right.
But in terms of hygiene, I heard it isn't a 10. What are some of the things you would tell someone like me getting ready for a trip to India to keep it safe?
Yeah, the biggest thing in general that I tell people is prep. Preparation is so key. So when I pack things, I have a whole section of my suitcase with just in case, and I put it in there and I say, I hope I'm not going to need this. So bring the things ahead of time that you'll need. Eating cooked food is probably a good idea, because it's the food that's going to get you more than anything else.
In the water, I heard.
In the water. So you're drinking filtered water.
Do not drink tap water in India.
Absolutely. Filtered water, and then probably worthwhile, as we talked about, if they give you the free water, to use your water to brush your teeth, because people forget about that as well.
Heard that.
Filtered water, and then having some supplements and oils to help you just in case you eat something and you start feeling it. Got to get it early.
How do oils help us? Is it the scent? Is there a chemical property of the oils? What do you think is actually creating the results you're getting from those oils?
There's so many things. So for the oils, you can smell them. So it is what comes in through our nose. You can put them on topically for certain oils for pain and things like that, and you can take them internally for certain things. So the oils are the essence of the plant. And so when you look at something like a eucalyptus plant, it creates these oils to protect itself from the environment. So it's kind of its own little immune system, and it helps our body and promotes our body's response to boost things as well for immune support.
Okay. Are there any oils in particular that you recommend people keep handy on all trips? Can you mention a few?
A few, absolutely. Well, in the Young Living world, there's a blend called Thieves, that it's the immune support formula. Another one called Energized, that's for digestion. If you're going to do the single oils, lavender is, we call it the Swiss Army knife of oils. So it'll work for just about anything. Get the highest quality that you can get of lavender. Peppermint oil is another awesome one to have. Helps with, when we go to the restaurants and get the little peppermint candies, it came from peppermint oil helping with digestion. And of course now the candies have like no oil, they're just sugar and a little flavoring. But the peppermint oil itself is incredibly good for digestion.
So when you're using these oils, for example, for digestion, is this something you would ingest or smell? Be more, it would be less the fragrance. In this case, it would be more of an ingesting.
It depends. It depends on the quality of the oil. If you have high quality oils, then you can take them internally. You have to be careful because some of the ones are not the highest quality, and so you don't know what you're putting in. You can just smell it. Sometimes you can put it on topically and just rub it on your stomach, and it will help as well.
Do you offer people the opportunity to get these oils? Do you have like a distribution?
I do. Yeah, I work through actually through my wife's website, so we go through her, michelleao.com, to get them. But a lot of people know about them, have heard about some of the different brands.
Does your website have any links to the oils?
It is. You can go through, if you go to travelbalance.net, then you will see a link in there to like resources, and you'll see a JP and YL, and YL is the link. Yeah.
Okay. That would be very helpful for people to be
that are
able to
interested.
do. I noticed you have a book.
Yes.
This is the book. And can you tell me a little about the book and what made you write this book, and who would the target audience for this book be?
Well, it came about from, it would kind of like when you were talking about, John, I'm getting ready to go to India. So a friend said, I'm getting ready to travel for 2 weeks. I'm going to be there. I don't want to get sick. What do I need to do? So, well, Howard, here's what you should do. Prep this. Here's what you ought to pack for the trip and order. And then when you get on the plane, getting through security, what if I get sick? So I wrote it for a business traveler primarily, because that's what I've been doing for the last 12 years, traveling internationally with IBM. And so I travel around, and I've learned a lot of this from experience, the hard way. So I wrote it to help you to stay healthy on the road. And so the target audience is really those people that are traveling primarily for business, but it could be on vacation as well, that are doing lots of trips. And when you get there, you have to be at your best, because there's a reason you're traveling and the company's paying for it.
Right.
You got to do business.
It's not a vacation.
It's not a vacation. You're there to do business. And if you're in the bathroom, right, or you're in bed in the hotel room sick, you're not getting things done.
Right. And I noticed that you cover every aspect, from the airport to the plane to getting to the hotel,
right,
being in the hotel, and then what you're doing as you leave the hotel room.
Exactly. The whole thing with exercise, how do I stay healthy? What can I eat and not eat? How do I deal with jet lag? What if I can't sleep? And then importantly is when we get home. So when we get home, don't forget these things, because most of the things that I talk about apply in our everyday lives, like the water that we talked about, really critical to drink, and most of us don't throughout the day.
So would you say, although it's travel balance, it's really health balance that you're advocating? You're just applying it to a specific purpose, but the things that you're describing in your book are things people should be doing in their lives, and not just when they're on a trip.
There's some suggestions, and people are more apt to listen when they know they've got something on the line in terms of the trip that's coming up. Some people are very anxious to get on an airplane for 12 hours to fly to Australia. So how do we keep the stress down? That's the key for all of life, and all of health from a natural health perspective is reducing stress. And so all the things talk about that.
I know some people have trouble sleeping on a plane. If you're flying from Dallas to New York for 3 hours, it's not a make or break. But if you're flying to Australia for 18 hours and you can't sleep, you've got a problem.
Are you a sleeper on the plane?
Yeah.
Well, you're lucky. I'm not. So if you can sleep on the plane, then that's a blessing for you. For those of us that can't, I think the best thing that we can do is put on our noise-canceling headphones, which is on the top 3 of my list of must-haves when you travel. Put those on, get some oils, smell them to relax, maybe take some supplements, melatonin or certain things like that. Put on the little the mask and go into I call it suspended animation.
Use any lavender?
Lavender's a great one. So smell that.
Isn't that like almost like a naturopathic sleep?
It is. It's a very big help for just relaxation in the body. So when you get that seat that goes back from here to here, and you're so much comfortable in that position, right? So now you're here. Just lay there. So if you can't
back
sleep,
3
do your
inches.
best. 3 inches. Do
Yeah.
your best. Put on the headphones, and even if your body gets to rest and not get that deep sleep, it's still going to be better off as opposed to watching every movie on the flight.
Well, one of the things I was very lucky when I went to Australia, they put me in business class, and I had one of those 180.
yeah.
It was a $15,000 ticket, but which I wouldn't rush out to purchase on my own for my own travel. But since it was
Right.
included in my fee, I was very happy to accept it, and it does help.
Oh, it's a huge
it's a
help.
Big difference.
It is. That's one of the ways I use my frequent flyer miles is getting that upgrade to business class, if at all possible.
It does matter. And on a long flight, Dallas, LA, Dallas, New York, it isn't going to make much difference.
It's funny, Howard. You know, when I first started traveling, it was mostly domestic, and oh my God, Dallas to Los Angeles was forever.
Forever.
And now I'm like, are we there already? Because
It's the first leg of the trip.
it's all relative. Exactly.
I got off in LA to go to Australia. It was like driving around the corner, and then you were on the plane for
Exactly.
20 hours
Exactly.
after that. And that was quite a trip. I enjoyed it,
Yeah.
but it took me 3 days to start to even begin to feel normal.
It's tough, but there again, I talk about some things you can do. One of them that seems a little odd, but really does help, is to go stand barefoot on the earth wherever you go. When you land in that place, if you can
Really?
get there, it'll help your body to sync up into that time zone.
How is that?
It's just, you know, we have disconnected ourselves from this planet in
Is
a
it
big way.
magnetic ley lines or?
No, it's really our bodies we're electrical beings. And
Right.
so when we ground ourselves into the planet, it's talking to us and we're talking to it, and it's transferring energy. And one of the things it's transferring is, you know, if you're looking at the sun, it's noon. It's not really midnight like your body says it really is noon.
Right, right.
So it just helps. They're just ways to gradually shift you, along with what we talked about earlier in terms of mentally setting that clock that says,
Yeah.
you know, we're there.
That was one of the toughest adjustments I've ever made was Australia.
It's a tough one because it's 12 hours. I mean, that's the worst.
Yeah.
And getting there isn't as bad as coming home. Whenever I fly to Asia, coming home takes about a week to sync up. You're okay, but like 6, 7 at night, I'm asleep. The other key thing when you travel like that is you've got to stay up till 9 p.m. those first 2 nights. It's absolutely critical because a lot of people get there and I'm just going to take a quick nap. Oh, don't take a quick nap. That's not going to be good. It's not going to be quick and it's not going to be good. It's going to, you know, just make it go
You're
worse.
just going back to the old time zone.
In a sense, it is. So drink coffee, do whatever you have to do, walk around, stay up till 9 p.m. those first 2 nights, and you'll be a lot happier that you did.
When I got there, my hotel room wasn't ready. So I went on one of those tour buses. You know, they have ones that
Yes.
go around the whole city and you can get on and off.
Yeah.
Well, I ran around the city 4 times.
Yeah.
I didn't get off.
Uh-huh.
I waited like 6 hours. And because I couldn't go to, I had no place to go. I had no room. And it was, in a way, it kept me awake because it was new. It was
Yes.
novel. And I got to see things.
Exactly.
And I was kind of in a quasi-awake state, but I was awake.
It's tough on those, but I've done that before as well. The hop on, hop off is always a good option in any city. And problem is they can lull you to sleep. You know, you're bouncing along and you're off. Next thing you know, yeah, you've gone around 4 times, you slept the whole way. But it's great to get out and walk. Again, whenever you can, get out in that sun, drink a bunch of water, drink coffee, whatever you need to do that first day or two, and you'll sync up pretty quick.
So Travel Bounce, tell us a little about the book and how people can get it and who would benefit from it.
Well, again, I think the main target audience is going to be those business travelers that are always traveling, especially international, that need to be on. Others could be, you know, people that are going on a honeymoon or a big vacation. You save up to go for this big trip to Tahiti, and you get there and you're sick or you're jet lagged. So you can get it at travelbalance.net, which will take you to Amazon. Of course, it's sold through Amazon. You can get it. I have a Kindle version and then a version for the Nook and for all the other e-readers that are very popular today. So you might want to bring it with you. So I wrote it in kind of a smaller format so you could keep it with you. And
Nice.
it's got some nice little chapter summaries at the end.
Yeah, I was looking at, what I liked about it was you can go right to where the problem is, like chapter 9, it don't feel good. So you can go to allergies or headache or indigestion or high altitude. So you could actually look at what it is that's bothering you. Maybe the rest of the material is useful, but right now you're throwing up and you're not as concerned about your energy EMFs right this moment. You're more
Exactly.
interested in the motion sickness that's making you feel. This is the book, by the way,
Absolutely.
for people who want to. Okay. Yes. So what are your plans for this book? What are you trying to reach companies and have them get this for their traveling? They have corporate travel
Yeah.
departments.
Well, they do. So the target audience really is the people that are in the technology industry because they tend to travel a lot in sales, and then consultants. And so I'd like to go to those companies and work with them to do professional speaking because that's part of what I do. And when I'm traveling is I teach classes. And so I'm going to just now starting to get out and start talking about my book and how I can help the corporate travelers to be more effective when they travel.
Tell me a little about your classes. What do you do in your classes?
Well, I'm working right now, I contract with IBM, so I'm teaching around sales topics, but I talk about life balance and work and life and how we keep things going because of my personal journey. You know, I got sick a long time ago and learned some lessons, and that's what I try to pass on to people. And so I talk about that among other things.
Are you speaking on the travel balance topic as part of the things you're sharing with companies?
I do. It's kind of my added John bonus in there to help people just because I want to pass on what I've learned. So I give them a few tips here and there, and I've been very honored to work with people all over the world.
So if a company wanted to reach you, they could go to travelbalance.net or
Yes.
John. I was wondering, do you have like something really special you'd like to tell people about travel and balance that would make their day?
Well, the most important thing, as I kind of mentioned earlier, is it's all about stress. So almost all chronic illness, so I have a practice and I see clients in Plano as well as a naturopath. And so one of the big issues, no matter what it is always stress at the foundation. The more we can remove stress and allow the body to heal itself, the healthier you're going to be. When we're traveling, it's just concentrated stress. From the moment you leave home, oh my God, is there going to be a traffic jam to the airport? You get there, can I get through the security line? And then we've got the coughing people, and it's just stress, stress, stress. So the more we can relax and breathe, which a lot of people don't do a lot of, deep breathing, and do exercises, things, you know, whether it's yoga or it's running or walking or whatever it is
Very
that helps
important.
you. It's really important.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot. I don't look it, but I go to the gym like 6 days a week. The last 2 weeks, I basically been asleep because I was sick.
Yeah.
But I agree. I think exercise is I remember there was a study, and it said that a workout in the gym is the equivalent of taking a Prozac. That physiologically, the endorphins
Yeah.
you can release from a good workout are very similar.
I could believe that for sure. I mean, if we could have an exercise in a pill, that would be the most, bestseller ever.
And when you look at
gotta
the
do
side
it.
effects of Prozac and the side effects of a nice workout, the workout seems to win.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. So people, if you'd like to get more information about John Ao and his Travel Balance book, go to travelbalance.net. You could email him, John, at travelbalance.net. Maybe you have a question and you'd like to set up an appointment. Do you do like a consultation?
I do.
To see if you'd be a fit for that person and see if what you're doing is good for
Absolutely.
them?
Yep, we do.
Okay.
Actually, there's a book bundle on my travelbalance.net. There's a little book bundle thing in there that has
Okay.
my ebooks plus a 30-minute consultation for $20.
And you also do naturopathic work with people who aren't traveling. So whether
Exactly.
you're looking for a good naturopath or getting ready for a trip, or maybe you're a company and you like to keep your people healthy on the road, this is the man. Go to his website, travelbalance.net, or email him at john at travelbalance.net.